New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello. Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. As you can see, I am only one girl right now, but that could change at any moment because that's how magical I am. That's how magical we metaphysical girls are. Anyway, my name is Robyn Rice Olmsted, and I am one of your hostesses today, along with Dr. Natasha, who is coming to us from Australia when she gets here. So just so you know, obviously we're on two different time frames. For her, it's about 7 or 8 in the morning, and for me, it's 4 in the afternoon. So wherever you are, I hope it's a great time for you. We encourage you to have fun, have a good time, make yourself a happy hour afternoon drink, whether that's iced tea or something with a little spike in it. We support everything that is safe and fun because that's what we do. So generally, what we like to do is just sort of talk about our week. When we pull a card to show us the metaphysical path for the week. And I'm going to invite my producer to join me because it's more fun than me talking to myself. So thank you, Mr.
Now, do I get double for being on the air?
You know, Michael, I think it's time really that we walked our talk. And I know we like to keep things confidential.
Right.
We've got to show up in truth with a capital T. And what we know is that what we get for doing this show can't be compared. You can't even compare it to money.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There is nothing that makes me laugh so much.
We just about the riches of the kingdom.
Okay, hold it.
Living, baby.
Well, you know what? Everything is all right. Do you know why? Because Calgarian is present. Wayne is here.
Wayne is here. Life is good. Oh, we love our Wayne. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, Wayne's here. So.
Yeah, Wayne, you gonna come visit us in Banff? We're gonna get to give you a big old hug up there.
That's coming up
for Spiritual Living Conference this summer in Banff. Where is it? Canada. I was like Colorado. So,
all right.
So, what do you say, Michael? You want to talk about the week for a minute, or you want to?
Well, my week's been interesting. I have a friend of mine passed last weekend who was a real influence on me doing what I'm doing today. He was Ted Randall was a real good friend of mine, and also his family, and I'm just kind of sitting with that. I would normally see him this weekend down in Dayton at Hamvention, but my schedule got changed, and I think it's good for all because again he wasn't able to go. So, but anyhow, it's been interesting. Just being with that sadness of losing someone Yeah. So anyhow, I mean, it's just other than that, it's been a week. It'll be a good, interesting Sunday coming up because uh, I have another. My brother-in-law passed here a few weeks ago, so they're having a celebration of
Mhm.
life for him in the afternoon, and then I'm going to a graduation party in the evening. So yeah, so that's what's been going on with me. So
Let me ask you about that because I feel as you're speaking about it, I feel I don't know, I feel a similar vibe. But there's this I mean, I've had a similar few weeks, those kind of things that came out of nowhere, people passed, all kinds of things happen. And amidst that were the good things like the graduations and the
mhm.
good things. But there's just some part of it that's for me has felt so surreal in a way. Like I don't even really I don't even there's a level at which I don't even really know how to relate to death these days. Does that make sense?
So explain more.
It just feels different. I don't know, it feels like
Well,
I
I believe that um, I believe Ted's okay. He was a believing born again Christian. I don't think that necessarily. We're we're all safe on the other side. So I don't. The people I worry about or I am concerned about when people pass are the family.
yeah,
And to support them and help them as much as possible. So, and again, it's just my tie-in with Ted was that I was listening on shortwave radio, of which I have a couple, and I was listening, and Ted was on a with Bob Heil, who was very well known in the not only the amateur radio community, but also he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for all that he has done in sound reinforcement and microphones and all that stuff. Well, there was another program that with John Cunningham that had it was Ham Test Online, in which he said that he could get me my amateur radio license, not just the amateur radio license, but the extra class license in 6 weeks.
well,
And so I was, but the reason I'm telling you this is because in a flash moment, I saw this picture here that you see with the microphone. In a flash moment, I saw it. So, so Ted was very supportive of me, with ministry and with, doing stuff online. So, it's just, it's just sad to lose a friend that way. It's just, I mean, I knew he'd been not doing very well, but it was just sad to lose a friend and someone who supported me in what I was doing. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, certainly gives you something to think about.
yeah.
Something to think about. Yeah. All
You
right.
know what? You know what I think we should do?
No, I do not.
I think we should do a card pull.
Okay, I'm on it.
Card pull of the week.
Okay, here we go. We're going with the Sacred Traveler deck.
Okay. Thank you, Denise Lynn.
I am shuffling. I am shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. Valiant courage. Wow. Take action with passion. Valiant
How
courage.
cool is that? Yep.
Take action with passion. Yeah. Wow. I really like that. What does that say to you?
Well, it says, I think it says to dust off some of the things I've been putting off and do them. Some of the things that maybe that rock my comfort zone and just do them.
I feel like every card says that these days. I do. I don't feel like I feel like every card I pull says the same thing.
Well, again, I think we live in interesting times. That, especially in the United States, I know that we have people from other countries who watch us, but I just feel that this is a time where that we can either let the news affect us in a negative fashion, or that we can see the opportunity in it. You know, the opportunity of people taking their power back, the opportunity of people becoming more engaged with uh, the politics, people getting more involved with their neighbor and really listening to what is going on with their neighbors. So I think that that is something that is interesting that's going on, and that my concern, especially the show that I do, which is the Friday evening fireside chat on at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, here on your New Thought Media Network on Friday evenings.
Tomorrow night.
Plug. You know, I think what concerns me is, and I've heard this from a lot of people, is they say, well, we're turning off the news. And I think that I have another opinion about that. I think that the news needs to inform us, to take action, that the news allows us to put certain things into our personal prayer time, that we have opportunities here that, you know, what do they say, when life hands you lemons, you know,
Right.
make lemonade. So I think
Margaritas.
What now? Oh, margaritas. Yes.
I had to upgrade.
Okay. Well, that's good. I think that's let's see, where's my one banner here? My one banner was, there will be drinking on the show.
I know. I know. I'm so disappointed myself.
Yeah. Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. We're almost here, so that counts.
It's 5:15 in the Central Time Zone.
There you go.
So again, I think that, and I think for, you know, since we're on, you know, girls behaving metaphysically, what I get concerned about is to continuing the empowerment of women, the continuing empowerment of our LGBTQ brothers and sisters, the continuing empowerment of individuals who are of color, darker skin tone than you and I. Even though I know that you are part black, that I think that it's an interesting time for us again to raise our voices and to say, listen, this is not acceptable here. It's not acceptable to be shipping individuals off without due process. It's not acceptable to a lot of the things that our current president is doing.
Right.
So I think having, and again, a compassion for that. The person who cuts my hair was joking with me, and she's saying, something. She says, how are you doing? And I said, well, I'm doing okay. And she says, are you going to support Trump today? I knew she was joking, but still that there are things that, again, that concern me, and that, again, I can do something about it. The news tends to disempower. So that is the reason why that, is to become more empowered by what is going on. And I know that our network speaks out about that. And we also get some interesting comments about, well, you ministers shouldn't be talking about this. Well, I disagree with that. I think we need to be talking about that, and that how the race consciousness is changed is by us speaking up and speaking out. So again, to bring about change in a world that does work for all. So,
well, I also think, yes, I hear you and I agree with you. For the most part, I think that when, that there is an interesting slippery slope to, I don't listen to the news anymore, or I don't hear the news. I know we all get it anyway from different places, whether it's the internet or talk shows or whatever. But I mean, and when people say, you ministers and, spiritual organizations shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, I think it really, but having you talk about it, you're talking about it from such a different perspective and from such a different lens. And I think, I don't think you can say anymore, I don't think you can talk about, like, no, we can't talk about church and state, because we look at the way the world is going.
right.
So I think it's an opening at this point for people to be able to hear about it, or, understand or embrace that new way.
Yeah, and that what I've seen is individuals say, well, you're being political. And that, how can I not, when I don't care what party it is, but how can I not say something when individuals are being taken off the street, when people are being stopped at airports, and there was a rock group, I guess from Mexico. Their names are kind of escaping me, but the gentleman in the band had a green card, and he was a citizen of Mexico, and that he was detained while that they were at check-in.
Yeah.
For, and again, the government can hold you for up to 72 hours without giving you any type of explanation at all. So that's the reason why, again, to speak up and speak out. And also, the whole idea of Afrikaners being allowed in this country, given a pass because of their skin color. It's from South Africa. I mean, that concerns me, and that's not the America that I grew up in.
Right.
So again, I think that's that's stuff like that really just concerns me, and I just think that having open discussion about this, and that to not let the news or the news cycle discourage us, but again, to say, okay, how can we raise our voices to empower women? How can we raise our voices to empower our gay brothers and sisters? How can we raise our voices to be able to support children? How can we raise our voices to do that? And I think that, again, for me, that goes beyond politics.
Right, absolutely. How can we raise some voices to empower ourselves? I mean, ourselves, we have clearly lost some traction here.
Well, and I think, too, the whole idea of moral compass I know that again in metaphysics we say there's nothing good or bad. Um, I just think that there are some ways that are not of the highest and the best, and that should be brought out, and that again, I think this network also does it, whereas we talk about also the good news that's going on. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful things that are going on that are not being reported in the news cycle. And that a lot of, and again, that's the reason why on this network that we have a whole hour that's dedicated to nothing but the good news with Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, um, uh, soon to be taken over um, by uh, uh, by another minister. But this is the time, this is the season not to let our voices be silent, and especially within the New Thought community.
Mm.
That this is, again, and we're not talking about politics, we're talking about, again, social issues and really doing and really practicing if the teachings of the masters, the teachings of Jesus.
Yeah.
Whereas, we have individuals in this country, unfortunately, who um, have believed that it's country first instead of God, and calling themselves Christian. And then again, it's the whole idea of Christian nationalism. That's what it's called. Where again, putting power in front of of God and also people. So yeah, this is a time, this is a season, and that to rise up, to support other people,
Yes.
for especially for women to support women, and for men to support women. Um, and I want to say that uh, since I'm around a lot of powerful women, that any male that is threatened by your power, um, maybe you should reconsider their relationship, because empowered women do not, for me, do not threaten me. I'm, when all are empowered, that's that bring when all boats rise,
Yeah.
all boats rise in the with the water. So I think that that's important. So
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is important. Definitely is important. It's definitely a new way of being out there. It'll be interesting to see really where we land in the next 3-4 years.
yes, Wayne says, the divine feminine will rise and blanket the planet. Absolutely, I believe that. I believe this is the time for the divine feminine to come forth, where we lead with the heart and not just the head. And I think that that's an important component, whether you identify as male or female or transgender, or is, where are you coming from in your life? Are you coming from the heart instead of the head? So yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, that makes me feel cozy and snuggly and warm.
What, leading with the heart?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just that metaphysical blanket, just that you're saying. I mean, no, it gives me that what you're saying and what I said, are the same on some level. And I think, there is a sense of, amidst all of the everything that's going on, there is a sense of camaraderie again, and that connection, and all of those things that are taking place in different places all foster connection. And even just being on some calls with people the other day from across the country in different places, like there's that connection happening.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, again, I think this again. This is I really believe that this is our time. This is our season, especially for um, groups who are involved in the New Thought teaching. This is our time. This is our season. This is the time to show love. This is the time to come from the heart. This is the time to love your enemies and pray for those who don't agree with you. This is the time to really practice the teachings of the Master Jesus in New Thought and also in religious science, of which you and I belong to, that, we look at Jesus as our way shower teacher, not our savior redeemer.
Right.
So, so how can we practice the teachings of Jesus now? And again, what concerns me is when people who are Christian, that they practice something that is extremely foreign to the teachings of Jesus. I'm very happy about the election of the new Pope, Pope Leo XIV. I think that he's going to bring a perspective in. No, I don't think that there are some things in which that he will be against, unfortunately. LGBTQ. I mean, he's made his statements in the past on that. And that I think that, again, talking about social issues, here you have a Pope that has spent most of his time not in America, but in Peru. So acting as a missionary. So he has a world perspective that I think that is going to be important. There are 1.2 billion Catholics. I mean, that's a that's a bunch of people. So, yeah.
And I love that. I love that. I love that he is going to bring a new perspective and that things are going to shift, and that I love that, there's other people that can help mold and shake this thing up, I mean, yeah, I think, honestly, I don't think we can get anywhere anyway until we really, really, truly explore our differences, not just the talk.
Well, I'm very proud of that. Again, someone who studies our history in New Thought, not just science of mind, but again, the whole spectrum of our teaching, that I'm very grateful that we have empowered women over the years by licensing practitioners and also licensing ministers in our teaching, whereas other denominations did not and have not, and do not let women talk from the pulpit.
Right.
Which yeah. And I think that that's what's coming up in the Catholic Church. I was listening to a nun who was talking with Nora O'Donnell from CBS about the empowerment of women within the Catholic Church. And she said that she'd like to see the papacy and also the leadership let women to be deacons.
Yeah.
Because that is in the scripture. What a lot of people don't understand is that we would not have any type of Christianity if it wasn't for the women. The women who held small groups in their homes. The women who went ahead and supported the disciples through their household money. That again, the powerful force of women, and then we end up with a hierarchy that's made of men. So it's just interests me. And what we're seeing now, we're seeing that there has been a crumbling away of individuals that they go to, like, for example, like church
Yeah.
We've seen a crumbling away of that, and that now in some instances we've seen, like, for example, like men, young men coming back to evangelical and non-denominational churches. We've seen that.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's to the point. I think that the world is really looking for a relationship with the divine that is empowering, that is, again, that understands the whole idea of the masculine and the feminine, and the idea of bringing them both together. That's what I see. That's my hope for the future, is
Yeah.
us doing that. So,
And I think we're moving that way. I mean, I think we're moving that way. I really do. I mean, the beauty of that event at Unity Village last week was not only about us, but just the fact that, you know, the AT&T archives were there, and our archives, and, you know, there were kids there taking pictures for their high school prom, and there was a wedding going on there, and, you know, just that space could really embody and hold all of that, you know. I mean, I think we're moving. I think we're moving that way. I have to believe that. I have to. And that in and of itself is cause to get a drink. So
did you want to take a break?
I do. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, let's take a break.
Okay. Well, we'll take a break, and we'll see you right back here on Girls Behaving Metaphysically on your New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here comes the girl. It's more than practical. Here comes the girl. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello. We are back. I am Robyn Rice Olmsted. This is Girls Behaving Metaphysically. And I am here with my favorite not girl, Michael Mangus.
Yes.
We all have a little bit of girl in us somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
So, and my co-host is not with us today. Dr. Natasha is not here. So Michael is filling in for her.
So was that, I saw a phone call during our break. Was that
I
her?
thought it was her, but it was not.
Oh, okay.
It was not. So, because I was surprised. I was like, oh, maybe it's her. So, yeah, I hope she's okay. We're sending her love and light and whatever else she needs to be okay. So,
Okay, Wayne said this. He says, "You're not Canadian, but I like you." Wayne, we love you. And no matter what you hear from the United States, we love all of our Canadian brothers and sisters.
so much.
So much. You have no idea. And Wayne, we were informed that we have to pay a tariff on you and that you're worth it.
Yep. we're going to keep you. We can't get along without you.
Yeah, we can't get along without you, Wayne. So thank you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but I would say to any other country or anybody, don't believe anything you hear, without talking to someone directly.
And that I think that the whole idea of getting your news from other sources other than America is to go on cbc.ca. That's the Canadian Broadcasting Service.
Mm-hmm.
To get your news from other places, to have them and see about their opinion about us here. So it's, it's just, again, it just saddens me. And that, again, I see opportunity in the sadness. I see opportunity for us to come out of this better than what we're showing now, what the world is seeing now. That, again, we have a lot of individuals who are not coming to this country this coming summer. The U.S. has been a very popular tourist attraction. And this summer, we're not getting a lot of the tourists because, again, that they are afraid that they may get stopped and or questioned by immigration. So, and especially our friends up in Canada, there's been some beach communities in Maine who are being affected by a 90% drop in their tourism. And it's going to be interesting to see how long that's going to persist here. But the whole idea of, again, when we talk to individuals from other countries is to say, again, the opinion that you're hearing on the news from our current administration is not what a majority of Americans believe about you. We love you. We love our Canadian brothers and sisters. We love our Mexican brothers and sisters. We love the world. So,
yeah, it's true. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think it's an important time to talk about what's being called for in the world is more like heart-centered living in some way. And how do we do that? I mean, how do we say, I know this was one of the things Natasha was talking about today, was just, some of the fear of things that people are feeling like they can't do, and how do we balance that? How do we stay? Well, let's just start with, what is heart-centered living? How would you describe that, Michael?
I would describe that as living from love. And simple but not easy.
Yeah.
especially when you have individuals who say crazy stuff on social media, even from your own group of people. That is just unbelievable. And I mean, this is New Thought, folks, saying some of the stuff that they do. And I'm going, how can you justify that with love?
Right.
How can you say that that is a loving perspective to come from? I'm not talking about your party. I'm talking about your core values.
Right.
Where are you coming from with that? So I think that living from the heart, how do we do that? I think, again, loving our neighbor, finding no fault in them, loving them just the way that they are. I mean, I have someone who loves 47 next door to me.
Mm.
So again, not to, it's to, greet him and love him and just, be there and, accept individuals where they're at. And that to know that, and again, I see that individuals with a certain belief system, when you come at them directly and try to challenge their beliefs, it really doesn't work. So what I've been seeing is, especially in the evangelical world, is that individuals are going through a process called deconstruction,
Mm.
whereas their faith, what they have believed in, that they see cracks in the armor,
Right.
cracks in the wall. So I think that that is what's going to change other people, not this direct going at their beliefs, is just to honor them where they're at
Mm.
and to say, okay, that to point out cracks in the armor. And I think that there are a lot of cracks out there that, again, that people are, people are starting to be affected by the changes of the administration. We're seeing the hike in prices. We're seeing the hike. I was just reading on Facebook before I came on today from a friend of mine who is a DXer. He The DX hobby is finding stations that are far away that you would normally not receive on a regular receiver. So there's sophisticated radio equipment and also that you're able to hear far off signals. Well, that equipment's going up.
Right.
That equipment, especially in the amateur radio world, of which I belong to, is going up
Mm.
because of the tariffs. Now, again, that the uh, again, we're going to be affected by that,
Right.
and to say, okay, how can we live through it? I was on the fireside chat the other evening. We were talking about Mattel having to hike their prices on their Barbie dolls and other toys. And I went ahead and said, well, you know what? Maybe this is the year that we actually celebrate Christmas,
Mm.
that we actually celebrate the meaning of Christmas, which is, again, that God is with us, Emmanuel,
Mm.
even in the darkest times, that God is with us. So I see opportunity in all of this.
Yeah,
That-
I do too.
so
I do too. I see. I mean, I even when we talk about, like, or when I was watching the other night, late night comedians, doing their thing, because there was a point at which I was like, I can't even watch this anymore. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's tragic and it's scary. But I realize as they're doing their thing, that they don't think it's funny either. Nobody thinks it's funny now.
Right.
Now they are news. Just in a different delivery delivery thing, but I mean, it really, it does feel like an opening for that open-heartedness, and that's why it's so great, really, to be able to connect with Canada in this way and just go, "We love you," be able to say that across airwaves, no matter who's listening, and other parts of the country, and really,
And other parts of the world too.
yeah, yeah, other parts of the world.
And that on Friday evenings at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Again, another shameless plug. That my partner and I, Jeff Ratcliffe and other commentators, is that we tend to poke fun at the news and to say, can you believe that this is happening? What we've seen is that individuals watch our show more because we do that. We're able then to take a look at the news in a different light. It doesn't mean that it's not serious, but it's a way of being informed without being overwhelmed. And that, again, that I am of the opinion that we who are of a heart-centered spirituality, that we need to, my opinion, is to be informed of what's going on in the world and to say, well, what is my part in bringing about, again, a world that does work for everyone? Everyone has a part in this.
Absolutely.
So what can individuals do? Well, again, treatment. Spiritual mind treatment. Know the truth for the world. Know the truth for this country. Know that, again, see beyond the appearances and know the truth. To become inspired to act in your local community, to volunteer, to find ways of, if you are older, is to find ways of mentoring our younger people, to find ways of being able to pour into their lives how our lives have been poured into by older people, by teachers and other people of like teachers and ministers and other people like that. So, yep.
Yeah, and I think also those are great. Those are great strategies, and I think even just practicing that awareness. Those things we talk about all the time, but for me anyway, they're the ones that sometimes get away in the midst of something flabbergasting. Like I overhear some political plan, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I react as opposed to really stopping and going to like the practical strategy of practicing, empathy and understanding for different perspectives, or
Yes.
engaging in self-care, and doing what's needed. Not going out with my friends or whatever, but going home because I really need to get into bed and read a book or whatever it is. But really listening to that voice.
Yes.
And really doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. I just think that's so important. And of course our own mindfulness practices, our meditation and things like that, journaling, breath work, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smiling because I'm just remembering that at a conference I was at, they asked us as a warm-up to share what one of our spiritual practices.
Mm-hmm.
Just something different. And so I'm smiling because some of them were just so simple and so sweet, and I mean they were all great. They were all great, but I was wondering if you had anything just simple that you wanted to share that you do or you practice.
For me, I practice mindful reading. That's one of the things I do every day is to put good stuff into my head. That recently I've been doing the lessons of Emma Curtis Hopkins, the way that they were written, which are that in the morning as you read, depending upon the day of the week, you read, like for example, on Mondays, you read 1 in the morning, the first chapter, and then in the evenings, you read 7.
Wow.
So I've been practicing that here for the past 3 weeks, and it's been very mind opening. And again, to come from a perspective of the the OG, the original gangsters, the people who originated this, to go ahead and to come from their place of empowerment. And so that's what I do. And of course, I do treatment work and, again, meditation, reading. I always said that. And then again, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's from Paul's, from Romans. And so that's what I do. I think that spending time each and every day in the silence, again, just by myself, has been very, very rewarding and very nourishing.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing too is, I think for me is ministry, and you know this by observing Gil, ministry in and of itself is somewhat challenging. And so that ministers need other ministers to talk to about this stuff.
Mhm.
And what I've noticed is that somebody said from one of the individuals from home office said that the average ministry or the average time of an individual is 5 years. 5 years. Now, you may have put in anywhere between 2 and, in my case, 6 years
Right.
to get the degree. But for me, what that says is that there needs to be more self-care so that you don't burn out. And the burnout comes from not sharing with other people, not being honest with people, not having other people to talk to. And there's many times that I cannot talk to Diana about certain things, but I can talk to my other colleagues who are not in the situation. So if I have a difficult parishioner, if I have somebody who I'm having or have a situation that, or someone has come to me in confidence, if I'm still having challenges or difficulties with that, then I need to go and, for me, I need to go and talk to other ministers. And I'm very grateful to have, Reverend Robert on my team. Plus I have another mentor minister, which again, I think has been very, very important and very beneficial. So,
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Just remembering we're not alone.
yeah.
There are others out there we can find and talk to.
Now I'm still working on sainthood for you, for having to live with guilt.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to let that one just unfold. I don't know. There's nothing I can say about it under my confidentiality clause. But yes, it doesn't be good sometimes.
Well,
Like-
no, it's just that when you're the spouse of the minister, and that's somewhat, again, you want to be supportive, but there's certain things that you cannot talk to your spouse about because they're held in confidence. So even if, and my wife's a practitioner also.
Right.
So I have to, if I'm having challenges with that, then I need to professionally go to other people and again, to maybe get a different perspective. to say, this is one of, and I think that the path of ministry and including, I'm going to include in that the path of being a practitioner is one of growth.
Oh, yeah.
We would not accept these paths unless that we were willing to grow spiritually. So that's the reason why we've accepted the call to be a practitioner or the call to be a minister is because that we want to grow on a soul level.
Yes. Yes. And that is why we're going to take our valiant courage card out into the world, because it takes valiant courage to take action with passion.
Yes.
I'm somewhere this week to take action with passion. I really like the way they wrote that.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Action
Robyn
with
Rice.
passion.
Taking action with passion. I don't know. May need to be a new slide.
A new banner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for stepping in and stepping up today to be
You're
with
welcome.
me.
Always an honor.
And thank you, Wayne, for being with us. And anybody else out there that we didn't talk to, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you next week and continuing this conversation, because I think what Michael brought up, what we talked about today, it's not going to go away. We're only going to want to do it more and support each other in living into that love. So as we say on another day, on another show, rock the love, you all, and behave metaphysically out there in the world by putting it out there. And we'll see you next week. Peace and blessing.